The defense pulled off a clean sheet tonight. You had some player rotation. You got a chance to get a keeper first regular minutes in a match in the league, especially how things went late with her really having to come up. Can you comment on how your defense played tonight?
Yeah, I thought they were solid. I thought Ryan and Shay were really good. Obviously, we expect high standards from Sammy and Sophia because of the amount of games they played. Yeah, I thought they were great. I thought Laura made some good saves.
Offensively, things seemed like they weren't quite clicking today, at least compared to a 5-2 win. Do you boil that down to having a lot of players who haven't played together before and getting some of their first minutes, or do you think there was something else, like from Angel City's defense, that really frustrated the way you wanted to play offensively?
I think obviously the players playing together for the first time, I think that's a big part of it. I also think we haven't trained. Like, we literally do match day -1, game, recover. I don't think we've trained properly since the FIFA break, because we've just had an absolutely ridiculous schedule. So I think that was what you could see tonight. Like, if that, especially when you're doing a rotation, that team needs to train, and we just are not in a position to train. So I think that that's an impactor on our our fluidity, if you like. But I think technically we gave the ball away sloppy in areas where we shouldn't have done too, which it's hard to get a rhythm when that happens as well.
And then follow up, are there plans to get more training time ahead of the Houston game, or is there no time?
No, but we do not have any time. Yeah. I wish we did, but we don't.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Even with the compressed schedule, you find yourselves right near the top with the table, 4 points out of 6 in the Challenge Cup. You're still coming through it in a pretty good position in both those competitions. Can you comment on where you feel you stand now coming through all that?
Well, we've obviously got another big test on Saturday, and I think we have to get through that. Honestly, I think it's going to be a tough game with, again, all the things I've just said. Travel, training, the condensed schedule, and this is sort of the end of it for a little bit, 2 weeks or whatever it is. Well, I mean, it's not really, but then when we can actually, rest and recover and then train. So, I think we have 2 training sessions before we go to North Carolina, which we haven't had. So I think that will be a good opportunity for us. But it's a fine balance between giving people a rest and to getting them recovered, to also then link into training. But I think when we played away in LA, it was probably similar. Obviously, we scored the first goal off a mistake from their goalkeeper, and the other one was a set piece. So tonight could have been exactly the same. But then we go out in Chicago and everything looks great. So I think we know we can do it. We just have to knuckle down and dig in and come up with a performance on Saturday to get a result. But I think it shows the quality and depth of our group that we are where we are, because not only are we doing it with such a condensed schedule, we're doing it without some really key players as well. So credit to the group, I'm proud of their work ethic and they're digging in. And the greatest thing about this group is after Chicago they weren't happy, after Louisville they weren't happy, and obviously tonight they weren't happy. So I think we want to try and put on a performance that we're proud of, that ultimately if we can get 3 points against Houston, then we set ourselves up from what's been a really, really difficult schedule to then be able to sort of fine-tune some things. But we're definitely not going to have time to do that before Houston.
Obviously she was on the bench, but was there any thought throughout that game to get Luana any minutes, or is it just kind of continuing to build her up with what you've had?
Build her up. I think this league's tough to play in, really hard. And physically you've got to be prepared for what it demands of you. And without a pre-season, that's really hard. And again, we haven't trained. So she's basically had 3 weeks of no training, because no team training anyway, because we're just playing games all the time. So it's been a challenge to get her physically prepared. But she's great. She's a great kid. She's young. She's so enthusiastic. We just need to get her on the grass and get her some time with the team to be able to get it into what we need from her, and obviously she's got a long career ahead of her, so we don't need to rush it.
We have Jada here on Zoom. Jada, you can go ahead.
Thanks. I just wanted to ask about your goalies. Was it always your plan to play Laurel and Claudia in one of these games?
The plan was always that they would split the games, and that they will continue to split the games in the Challenge Cup, because they need that opportunity. And I've said a lot that we have a really high level quality. All three of our goalkeepers have really high level quality, and I'm so glad that they're getting to show that in the Challenge Cup, because we need them to be able to continue to develop, and these games are a good opportunity for that.
All right, Susie, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Laura, I was going to ask, it seemed like when Olivia Athens was able to get on the ball, she was pretty dangerous, and wondering just what you thought of her overall performance, and maybe a little bit more about if you thought the team should try to get her on the ball a little bit more today.
Yeah, I thought we could have got her on the ball a little bit more in the first half, and Liv is a super intelligent player, excellent on the ball, can really cause opponents problems. I thought she did well, and I think we need to continue to keep developing her, because she's going to be a huge part to play for us during the World Cup, I think.
Thanks, Susie.
I have one more, just really quickly. You mentioned the back line, and obviously you expect Sam Hyatt to have the performance that she had today, but took on a little bit more of a leadership role, I would assume, with Shea Holmes next to her, and I think has been quietly having just a really, really strong season as well, and just what you have seen overall from Sample today, but just throughout the start of the season.
Yeah, Sam's been excellent. So, and we played her in a different role tonight, playing on the right. It's a little bit different pictures for her. Sam's been tremendous. I think I said a while back, when we did the trade for Sonnet, you could have seen someone like Sam, shrink and let Sonnet take over, and she didn't do that, which has been massive because we've needed Sonnet in a different position. And I think Sam's performances so far this season have been exceptional.
All right, and then last one from Taylor. Taylor, you're muted. We still can't hear you. Taylor, can you type?
Hi, Laura. Long time no see. Sorry, we didn't get on the road. But if you could just talk about kind of the performances of Laurel Ivory and Shea Holmes tonight.
Yeah, I thought Shea was excellent. Very, very good. She's someone that I have high hopes for. I think she has huge potential. I think she's had huge injuries, issues prior to turning pro. So we know that this year we've got the biggest aim for Shea is to get her minutes whenever we possibly can, but to keep her healthy and fit and strong and keep pushing her forward, because I've said this publicly a lot. I had the chance to work with Shea when I was the U20 coach, and she was exceptional then. And since then she's had big injuries. But obviously I kept an eye on her career and when she was coming back, and I believe she has a huge future either as a left-sided centre-back or as a left-back moving forward. Yeah, I thought she was great. Laurel, obviously huge save towards the end of the game against Sav. And yeah, it's hard talking about Laurel and Claudia, because obviously it's, when everyone's seeing them for the first time, it's like quite surprising to everyone. But we see them every day, so it's not shocking to us at all. I'm really glad that both of them were able to get a clean sheet in the games that they've played. I challenged both of them that they were going to rotate throughout the Challenge Cup, and if one of them stood out, then they would take the lead. And I think both of them in the away game in LA, I thought Claudia was great, and I thought Laura was excellent tonight.
Thanks, Taylor, and that's it for questions.